99% of the up-armored vehicles, they take a standard street car and they add 3,000 pounds of steel and it'll stop a bullet. Okay, but it drives horribly. So we went to a company called Multimatic out of Ontario, Canada, who has done suspension engineering for Aston Martin, for General Motors. They make the dampers for Ferrari's Formula One team. And we left it with them for months, and they designed the suspension, shocks, springs, sway bars. They did the brake system for us through outside suppliers so that we ended up with a vehicle that could turn almost 0.9 Gs on the skid pad and could drive through a slalom better than a stock SUV that has none of the armoring weight.
Well, it's amazing. You can tell it's amazing by looking at it, but would you mind showing us around?
Sure. When you look at this, you start at the basic look of the body, which is fantastic, so it looks great. But then, when you dive into it, you've got brakes that were developed for us by Performance Friction Company. They're 16.5-inch rotors with 6-piston calipers, and this vehicle can stop and was tested at GM's Proving Grounds in Mesa, Arizona, from 60 to 0, 10 times repeated with zero brake fade. And to give you an idea, we had a similarly equipped Cadillac Escalade. It lasted 4 stops from 60 to 0 before the brakes were smoking and not working. This car drives with suspension modifications, brake modifications. We even had the wheels developed so they're a forged wheel rather than a cast aluminum wheel, so it won't break if you hit a pothole at 80 miles an hour in an 8,000-pound vehicle, with a rod guard insert so if they blow your tires out, you can still drive on them.
Dave, what are some of the specific materials that are used in this vehicle?
Well, to try to create a lighter up-armored vehicle, we have some high hard steel, but then we have polystrand and polycarbon fabrics that make it lighter, as well as a proprietary pouring substance that we call liquid steel. We use that in the ABC pillar and around the perimeter of the roof, and what that does is that can stop all the threat levels up to an armor-piercing round while saving 30% of the weight of normal steel, which is what 99% of the other up-armoring companies do.
Wow. Now I'm going to ask the obvious question. What kind of gas mileage you getting?
Well, believe it or not, even with the added weight, the 403 horsepower 6.2-liter engine still averages 17 to 18 miles to the gallon on the highway.
Now that's amazing. Now I know there's some interesting and specific things about the front, that it has some capability here in terms of what it can do.
Exactly, and what we've done behind that beautiful front end and grille and special headlights, behind the bumper support we actually have an armor steel plate that acts as a support, so if you have to use it as a battering ram to actually move cars out of the way, you won't crush the front of the car, hit the radiator, and be stopped.